from the bottom of Lake Ontario to charming cities and ancient craters in Quebec. We've now driven nearly 2,000 kilometers to what feels like the true beginning of this expedition across eastern Canada. Ahead of us lies a road some call Expedition 51. Others will call it the loneliest road in Canada. The three of us are traveling east this season in the van that we've converted ourselves into a full-time rolling home on wheels. We finally made it to the big land, and this week we're taking on the long and lonely drive across Canada's remote Trans-Labrador Highway. The gateway to one of the most isolated road systems in North America begins here in Labrador City. The town only exists because of the massive amounts of high-grade iron ore the area produces. Before we continue east, we'll need to fuel up, stock up on groceries, and make sure we have everything we need for the next 1,200 kilometers across Labrador's vast interior. Out here, towns are few and far between, with some stretches of up to 400 kilometers without any services. Well, my friends, we are on to the next great adventure. We got our coffee and snacks for the road. We're only going to head about an hour up to our first campsite on the Trans-Labrador Highway. And we are cutting all the way across all of Labrador from the west to the east before we make it to the ferry at Blanc-Sablon to make it to the island of Newfoundland. But we got a lot of adventure until then, and we can't wait to see what Labrador has to bring.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
They're ready.
The paved road, less traveled.
The paved road, less traveled. Yeah. Pulling into camp, and I think we might be horrible parents. Diesel's letting us know that we're an hour late to dinner time. Even with the time change, he still knows when it's dinner time. And we may not have a direct view of the river, but we're within walking distance, so that's good enough. I gotta say, I think we did this trip at the perfect time of year, because if we were in this spot, probably next month, we would just be getting eaten alive in a place like this.
I feel like every time we... Oh, look at the iceberg! Or
Yeah.
ice, sorry, not iceberg. Manifesting.
Well, that's a good sign. Maybe we can get the boat in the water at some point this summer. Hi, big tuna. You tired? Well, we've only been on the Trans-Labrador for probably an hour today, but we got the perfect representation of why there is not a litter of roads throughout northern Canada. When you're driving, you'll see endless bog and muskeg and rivers and lakes. So for them to build a road, it's got to be worthwhile. And out west, you can see the Dalton Highway out in Alaska for oil. And then a little further to the east in the Yukon and Northwest Territories, you have the Dempster Highway, which was also for oil and resources. And so Canada could have a presence in the north because it was just so far off. And if you look at the Canadian provinces, all of the roads are pretty much on the southern part of the provinces because that was the only habitable space where people could live comfortably all year round. And you know, even places like Bella Coola, they just wanted a road, so they built one themselves, which is still pretty incredible to me. And then coming out here, of course, it's the same idea, to connect these northern communities and the natural resources. And so when there's roads for people like us with a vehicle and just a sense of adventure and just to go out on a good old-fashioned road trip, roads like this are always the best, and they just offer so much inspiration and so much enjoyment to come out to the middle of nowhere, it seems, and it never gets old. go. Raise those arms.
Yeah, everything. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Phyllis.
Dancing babies.
Dancing babies. I love it. I love it. We are making a commercial for Dunder Mifflin today. Our first ad ever. Corporate purchased some airtime.
We've only watched this show probably 7 or 8 times, but still doesn't get old.
Sending up a professional ad company to help us make it.
We're watching the snow just fall from the sky from the coziness of our van. Diesel heaters on, obviously. It was kind of raining a little bit this morning, but it's turned into snow. So we're just gonna hang out today, get a little bit of work done, and just stay cozy in the van.
In Southern California, Dana Point, the harbor. We woke up to rain and then some snow, but now we have sunshine. If you want to experience some of the most temperamental weather systems, just come to northern Canada. But we're making moves today. We're getting back on the road and we're heading to Churchill Falls, a little town that has some pretty awesome history and a cool hike to the actual falls that we're going to check out today. I guess we don't really need to put the map on today, do we?
Not really. I think there's really only one way you can go. I think we just keep driving down the Trans-Labrador Highway.
You can hear all the sand coming off the tires. Well, as you can probably imagine, it's a pretty long and lonely road. There's not many people coming up behind us or passing us from the opposite direction. So when someone drives by, you best believe we're going to wave at them and see if they wave back to us. The classic wave game, it just never gets old. 0 for 1.
So fast.
0 for 2. I think this is the one. Yes! Yes! Told ya! He just did the little salute. That's it. That's all I needed. Yeah, we're eating before the hike because there's no room for hangry hikers out here today. We had breakfast, but snacks are always important. Gotta stay fueled up, you know?
Oh yeah, it is.
Fresh poop. There you go. Okay. Okay. Alright. Hang on. That didn't want to stay on very well. Even though it's not what it once was, it's still quite a spectacular sight to see. There's still lots of water coming over the falls, and that big, crisp, fresh air is coming right off the riverbed, right across the valley. So I'm glad I brought my jacket, but I'm about to put the drone up, and I think I'm gonna fry a whole battery right here. It's just that good. Long before a highway had crossed through central Labrador, Churchill Falls was simply just another powerful river crashing through one of the most remote regions in Canada. It didn't take long for the government to notice its hydroelectric potential, and by the mid-20th century, the province of Newfoundland and Labrador set out on an extremely ambitious dream to harness the river's potential, which would transform the province's economy. With entire work camps and even the creation of the town of Churchill Falls had to be built deep within the province, which was only accessible by rail and air at the time. There was only one major problem. Newfoundland and Labrador had no practical way to pay for all of this, and was also isolated geographically. with the only realistic path to large energy markets going through Quebec. At a time when Quebec had already controlled most of the region's power infrastructure, Labrador would enter negotiations from a weak position and go on to sign one of the most controversial business deals in Canadian history. As of today, Quebec has earned nearly $28 billion from the deal, compared to the meager $2 billion earned by the province in which the massive waterfall actually lies.
So essentially, this building was built in the late 60s, early 70s, and the idea was to put all the businesses, the school, the gym, everything under one roof, more for a safety thing because the climate up here in Labrador, it's pretty wicked in the winter, really all year round. So it was easier for them to put something under one roof, have it operate under the same kind of power system and everything, and then the residents could just come to one location, do their groceries, bring their kids to school, go to the gym, do their workout, go out to eat, whatever it is, all under one roof, just so that they're not in and out of the nasty climate that can happen here up in Labrador. So it just makes sense. So it's kind of cool to check it out, even though everything was pretty much closed, but no one was really there, so it's like we got our own private tour.
Home tonight is a gravel pull-off because there is an absolute ton of those along this stretch of road. And we've got another lovely small little lake right outside our side door, but it's frozen. And you know, the whole buying a new boat and then coming across these beautiful lakes with probably tons of fish just ready for the taking, it's grinding my gears a little bit, but it is what it is. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of time for that once these lakes thaw. You know, hopefully we can get out there while we're on the mainland in Labrador here before making our way to the island. And as I mentioned before, it's one of those roads that we almost got talked out of doing because we listened to one person who had said it's just a long, long stretch of green, just a green tunnel. And you know what? That person is not wrong because that's pretty much what it is. But at the same time, it's also so much more than that. There's tons of adventure along the way. And I think it's just the novelty of being somewhere like this and just knowing where you are in the world, in Canada. And, you know, just being able to explore a new place in Canada. There's so much. Along the entirety of this trip, we've noticed a lot of different looking fecal matter that we've never seen anywhere else along our travels. And so finally it got the best of us. We had to look it up to see what it was. And it's porcupine from all our friends, Patricia and Peter and Parker and all those guys that we noticed along the way coming up through Quebec into Labrador. We've seen more porcupine than we've seen anywhere else. And so if you're coming up here with a dog, definitely good to have them close by because they're out there. And we also, along our Google search, realized that a group of porcupine is called a prickle. And we thought that was pretty funny. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. Figured we'd give the lake one more try and see if it was, you know, navigable, even in the least little bit. But sadly, it was not. So we're getting back on the road. We're pouring our coffees, and Happy Valley, Goose Bay is the destination for today. Well, we had to pull over because it's gotten quite a bit more mountainous, so we're going to get the drone up. And on our left, we have the Penis River. Could be Penis, could be Pinus.
The Penis River.
The Penis River flows right into the Churchill River. But nonetheless, it's a very beautiful river. Right now we're doing a little bit of gas math because over the next 400 kilometers there is no gas services, and I believe no services whatsoever, and we want to do a detour along the way up to another coastal town. The internet says they have gas. There's 2 gas stations, but we checked and the one says temporarily closed, but there is another one that says it's open. So I think we're going to call just to verify before we go, because if we were to go all the way up to this town, we wouldn't make it to Port Hope Simpson for the gas station that's there. Walt's got a pretty big gas tank, but not that big. So of paved highway driving, we have about, I'm going to say between 600 to 700 kilometers.
Gateway Convenience.
Hi, how are you today?
Hey, not too shabby. What's up?
We're just traveling and we're up in Happy Valley right now and just wanted to check in to make sure you guys had gas and were open.
Oh, yeah, we have gas and we're open so far. Everyone's coming for the gas though, so
I
don't
know.
how long that lasts.
If you guys are open in that, and you should have gas tomorrow, you're saying, maybe?
I should, but I'm also working tomorrow, so if you want to give us a call, I can let you know then too.
Yeah.
Give you some live updates.
I would love a live update.
Well, there you go, folks. They should have gas. And we probably won't have phone service along the way, but we might. So we're just going to see. If we can call, we'll call. I think he might have just been tricking us a little bit just to keep things, keep us on our toes. But I'm sure they have gas. I'm sure they don't just run out of gas on a weekly basis. So
I'm going to ask them. I'm going to be like, do you guys actually run out of gas? It's
We'll
gotta
be good.
a thing.
We'll be
There's gotta
fine.
a shortage.
yeah. Just gonna grab a couple more of the necessities and then we're ready to hit the road.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks a lot. We're getting blown around out there today. The rain turned to snow and sleet and wind. It's fierce out there, and I think this big stretch is going to be pretty much the same thing the whole way. So we're making the mission push. Our batteries are nearly dead, so we have to charge them anyways. So we're going all the way to Cartwright today, hopefully.
This is exactly why I wanted to get a diesel heater before we started this trip, because even though it's May and it's, spring, getting into summer, warmer weather, we're heading north. We're north right now, and there's clearly snow and colder weather. We've used it quite a bit since we've been on the Trans-Labrador Highway, but it's cold. Like, we're in sweaters, wool socks, got our winter jackets on, our toques. Our plant Jerry here is taking a bit of a hit, so we need the heat, and I'm very grateful that we have our diesel heater.
Well, my friends, we've made it to the coast. The little town of Cartwright. We've topped up on our gas so we can make it out of here at some point. But we've got our own little oceanside camp for the evening. And it's not looking like an evening we want to spend outside because it's pretty gnarly out here and it's a sleepy little town, so we're not seeing much of anything. So I think it's going to be a night of just hunkering down and staying warm in the van.
Welcome to the Atlantic, where the weather is unpredictable and mysterious.
Good luck out there.
Okay, ready? Woo. All right. See ya.
That's me.
It's so nice.
Sorry, buddy, no swimming right now.
Yeah, you can tell he wants to go in.
Something we've noticed pretty quickly out here in Labrador is that it's always windy. And when you realize where we are in the world, it kind of makes sense. You've got cold Arctic air coming down from the north, storms rolling in off the Atlantic, and almost nothing out here to block the wind for thousands of kilometers. A lot of Labrador is just exposed rock and tundra, and with an open coastline, weather can move in fast and hard. The cold Labrador current playing a huge role, bringing cold ocean water down from the Arctic and mixing with the warmer air in the south. It's part of what makes this place feel so wild. As we've experienced a few times already, even on a nice day, the weather out here can change almost instantly. Another one blustery here by the coast today, but I guess that's what you get when you go to the ocean. If you're near the ocean, it brings in some of the most beautiful weather, but also some of the most fierce. And it was a lot windier and cold and snowy last night when we got here.
But the sunset was beautiful last night.
Exactly.
It cleared right up.
Yeah, and especially living by Vancouver Island, there's tons of rain, so for 2 weeks at a time sometimes you'd get non-stop rain, but then you'd get the most epic sunset you've ever seen in your life and you'd forget all about that last 2 weeks of rain. So it's kind of like that here. So you deal with the bad weather because there's good weather right around the corner as well.
I honestly, I think just being by the ocean is the best thing ever, so
Yeah.
I'm all for this.
Well, our morning hike has brought us to Flagstaff Hill.
Where are you?
And this hill, back in the early days of Cartwright, was used as a lookout for pirates coming into the bay to try and loot the town. And this was a very thriving fishing village, and still is, I'm pretty sure. But you can see the cannons on the hill here to ward away any pesky pirates that want to come into the bay here.
The pirates are coming!
Let ho! Pirates are here!
They're coming 2 nautical miles to the right.
There he is.
Cartwright's a pretty sleepy little town. With that being said, the weather has not been nice for the day and a half that we've been posted up here. Home to about 400 or 500 people, I believe. It's also home to polar bears, which we completely disregarded when we were on our hike earlier this morning. But apparently they're here until the early spring, and then once the pack ice a little further north is good to go, they start heading up that way. But along that route, they pass through this town quite often. So that was a bit of a wake-up call that we are now by the coast. And, you know, it is late spring, but there still is that potential chance of coming across one, which would be really cool, but from the inside of a vehicle or just well away. We still have lots of driving left to do on the Trans-Labrador Highway. Several hundred kilometers before we catch our ferry in Blanc-Sablon in a few days' time. But things are changing from the remote boreal forest that we've passed through for the past several days, and we're on more of the coastal route now, so things are going to change quite a bit from here on out. Someone found a bath.
Woo! All right. Look over there. It's a massive iceberg.
Well, I think this one was waiting for us. It looks like it's coming right in. Despite the wind, it's coming right in to what they call Iceberg Alley. But we've made it to the little town of St. Louis,
Yay.
here on the edge of the world in mainland North America. Feels pretty good. And part of what makes this Iceberg Alley lookout location so exhilarating is because those icebergs that flow to this area of the world are ancient. They fall off from the big ice shelves way up in Greenland and parts of Canada, way up in the world, and they make their way across the pond over towards here and flow into this little bay. And that's why they call it Iceberg Alley, because they constantly have these massive, massive pieces of ice floating in towards this little town on the edge of the world. They're huge.
I think we found a new hobby and it's called looking for icebergs.
Yeah, we have a new game, Iceberg Seekers. It's pretty exhilarating, I'll tell you that. But I'll tell you another thing. It's not much warmer out here. It's actually quite cold now that the sun's gone. But it's amazing to me that that is a small chunk of ice off this massive behemoth of an ice sheet way up in Greenland. And apparently it takes about 2 to 3 years for these pieces of ice to come down from way up there, and then they hit the Labrador Current and it brings it towards this piece of land here where we're seeing Iceberg Alley at its finest right here in front of us.
Yeah, and you can see more icebergs coming this way, so when we wake up in the morning, kind of curious to see if this big one here in the bay is going to still be there, and these ones will come in closer, a whole new round. Like, there's so many.
It's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this.
Yes, that was
I know.